All right, let's get started. Welcome in my session. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Okay, finally, at least someone is yelling. How's everybody doing? Great. Okay. Well, you're gonna find out that I love interaction with my audience, especially on a Friday afternoon after a busy day yesterday for most of you. Yeah, I guess so. I'm Peter de Tender. I'm from Belgium, the country of beer and chocolate. That's why I call myself a fat client. I'm going to talk about EMS. I assume most of you already know the bits and bytes of EMS without actually knowing that it's EMS. But more on that later on. So not only talking about what is EMS as a solution, I wouldn't say it's a tool, it's actually a combination of tools, but also showing you how you can deploy it, how easy it is actually to just configure it. About the interaction, I'm on Twitter, PDTIT. So whatever feedback, questions you have during the session, after the session, feel free to shout. So a couple of things I want to go through the next 60 minutes is first of all, doing a small pitch. I wouldn't say it's really marketing, but giving you the headlines. Why should we care about mobile management? Because that's the real focus on EMS. Why is mobile management important? Again, talking about enterprise organizations, companies, maybe your own company, maybe your customers. Why should they care about mobile management? And then the next topic is, of course, pretty technical. What is EMS? What are the different components? And how can you configure it? I've prepped a few demos. I'm pretty sure they will work. At least I hope so. Q&A is at the end, but again, feel free to shout questions. I hope I can see it, and if not, just shout a bit louder. A couple of words about myself. I started in IT in '96, NT4 platform. Did just a small work with SAP database management. And my first project was actually migrating from SAP on mainframe to SAP on Microsoft platform. And I so much loved Microsoft platform besides SAP, and I actually never looked back. So Microsoft is like the thing that I'm doing. Mainly done Exchange for like 15 years. And then when cloud technology came up, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, Office 365, killing the Exchange business, at least at that moment in time. And then in the meantime, I switched more to an architect role on Azure, Hyper-V, and everything that's Microsoft Cloud related. So currently working for Sogeti in Belgium, and also taking some Microsoft Alliance role on a global level. Besides that, I'm pretty active as a Microsoft trainer, and I love community. That's why I'm an IT beast. Some of you probably wonder, hey, is a guy trying to sell something? Not really. This is like a gift for you. I know 3 is not really that much, so I try to encourage you to be active, and the 3 ones who are most active at the end of the session, they can just grab a t-shirt. So, mobile management. Without going too much in detail, I mean, the slides are provided afterwards anyway. The key thing about mobile is, for enterprises at least, it's actually a real challenge. I mean, who is using a mobile device nowadays? Like, think of an iPad, an Android tablet, an iPhone, a Windows phone, whatever. I think all of you, right? Yeah, but yeah, stupid question. Well, no, not really a stupid question. The thing is that in a lot of enterprises, it's actually a real challenge for not only bringing in those mobile devices, but actually having the management, the control of those devices. Because in most cases, those devices are your personal ones. Not really managed by the company. And some point in time, you maybe don't want them to be controlled by the company. Think of, and I'll show you later on in some demos how you can configure policies, but think of it's your personal phone, you want to connect to the email backend of the organization. Your IT department configures some policies saying that, okay, your device needs to have a PIN code, the device needs to be encrypted, and some other possible policies. But in the end, it's your personal device. So it's like becoming a battle between the person, you with your coolest, newest device. Anyone already running Windows 10 on his phone? No? You all bought a wrong phone? Yeah, I have the same problem. Um, Now, when thinking about mobile challenges in enterprises, yeah, it's like becoming a standard. Giving you some numbers, 70% of CIOs recognize that allowing those mobile devices in the organization is a risk. Why? Because they don't have the right control. And some other numbers, but not that important for the moment. Next issue is mobile is just normal. I mean, everybody's using mobile devices. In a lot of cases, they're personal devices. And it's just their normal way of working. I mean, my own story, I had a Surface Pro device. When I started working for Sogeti a few months ago, they actually forced me to use this other device. Yeah, it took a few weeks to actually accept the device. Now, why did they force me? Because first of all, it's a domain joined client, meaning they can control whatever they want. And at some point in time, it's even giving some problems because I cannot install all the software I want to install. That's just an example. And you can probably think of a lot of own examples in your own environment. But the thing is, mobile is there. Control has been there for like 20 years, maybe 30, 40 years out of an IT perspective. And it's a challenge. Now, what did companies do? They started buying solutions. Think of 4 or 5 years ago when iPads, iPhones became like a standard device talking about the C-level in your organization. The CEO comes in the office, walked over to IT department saying like, hey, I got this really cool new iPhone. Can you make sure that I can read my emails on it? And then you go like, yeah, okay, well, let me play with the device. Well, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna configure it. I mean, that's all fine. But then the CEO goes traveling for business and the phone got stolen or he lost it after some drinks after attending a conference, you know how it goes. And then suddenly he thinks like, damn, my financial data is on there. My business plan is on there. I have no idea who found that device. Maybe it got stolen by my competition because we're attending the same conference. And then he goes back to IT saying like, yeah, you know, I lost my phone. Can you make sure that nobody's actually having access to my data? Not that easy. Besides just buying some solution, which worked perfect for iPhones. Few months later, someone else comes in the office saying, hey, I got this cool Windows tablet. It's called Surface and it's really shiny and cool. Can you do the same configuration? Yeah, you know, we have this solution for managing iPads and it's really cool, but it's only working with iPads and iPhones and then some third guy comes in, he says like, hey, I got this new Android phone. And I mean, you know the story. So that's actually the issue that I'm gonna try to help you with. From another angle, again, talking about having the control from the IT perspective, the organization perspective, and on the other side, having the flexibility of working mobile. It's your own device, and it's like a continuous battle. The more control you want out of IT, the less happy your users will be. Because it's your phone, you can install whatever you want on it, except if you connect it to the back end of the organization, then a policy is being enforced, and they're blocking you from installing, I don't know, any games or news apps or all the cool and funny stuff. That's not the way to control it. So on the other hand, like I'd like to call it, make it easy to connect and be productive. Allow users to use their device. And again, it can be like a corporate acquired device. They buy whatever device you want to use, and giving you control, giving you some management by yourself, and giving them the confidence that, okay, it's a mobile device, but it's still controlled. It's encrypted. There's a PIN code on it. We can decide what we're going to do with the data. We don't care if the phone got stolen. We just do a wipe and that's gone. Now talking about the wipe, that's another issue. It's all or nothing in most cases. Now think again of your personal device, your personal phone. Yeah, you're using it for corporate information, connecting with an Exchange or Office 365 backend. That's all fine, but at the same time you're taking pictures when you're attending a conference. Maybe you're here just paid by out of your own pocket, and then it's like your conference, it's your pictures, has nothing to do with the business. And then when someone out of IT forces a remote wipe, yeah, you're just losing all your personal information as well. Or think of you worked for the company, for whatever reason you decide to leave the company, and they want to force a full wipe of your device. In a lot of cases it means you're losing everything. So it's not a game about I'm in control because I'm losing my data. So what is the solution? Again, talking about the Microsoft solution, this is like your on-premise environment. Without going too much in detail, you're pretty familiar with all the components, I'm pretty sure. Active Directory as a baseline. Next to that we have file servers, Exchange servers, System Center maybe for doing the full Windows client device management, and line of business application, SharePoint, whatever you think of. But next to that, companies are also allowing more and more mobile clients, more and more cloud applications inside their environment. Think of Office 365. Think of any other cloud application like Salesforce is another famous one, and all the other tons of thousand applications you can think of. With, from another angle, not only talking about control, but also giving you, as being the IT department, giving you some challenges in controlling how your user is, for example, authenticating. As long as it's happening inside your environment, in your on-premise data center, that's all fine. There's a new user coming into the company, you're giving them an Active Directory user, creating an Exchange account, giving access based on NTFS file shares. I mean, that's all fine. We've been doing that for like 20 years. But now when cloud technology comes along, it's not that easy anymore. How can we control that person 1 is connecting with Active Directory and person 1 is connecting to cloud application X? We cannot really control it because it's a different account. Well, no problem, it's only 1 or 2 cloud applications. And the user, he'll probably understand. Logging on to this URL means Active Directory account. Logging on to that application in the cloud means the other account, and the other, and the other, and the other, and the other, and the other 500 accounts. You all recognize the example, I hope. How is Microsoft helping you? By providing EMS. That's the key message. By making sure that on-premise cloud, it's all coming together. Now, as mentioned in the beginning, EMS is like a solution. It's actually just a combination of different already existing tools in some kind of bundled combination. From a technical angle, first of all, pretty important is Active Directory Premium in Azure. Anyone already played with Azure AD? Okay, some of you, good. Next to that is Azure Rights Management Service. Anyone played with Rights Management Service before, besides using the Azure one? Okay, good. And then the last one, Microsoft Intune. Okay, most of you. I'm not going to talk too much about Intune. I have a couple of slides at the end. I have some demos if you want, but when checking back on the agenda for NIC conference, I think we had like 5 different sessions touching Intune. Who was not in one of those sessions? Okay, good. We'll find out at the end if it's really important to talk about it or not. Now, what is the cool thing about EMS, besides just the technical stuff underneath? It's like a bundled solution. Think about Microsoft and bundled solution. It means it comes with a certain cost. Without doing a sales pitch, the EMS as a bundled license costs you $4 US. On top of the licenses you need for AD Premium and Intune. In total, I don't know any details about differences in regions and countries, but for example in Belgium, buying or actually taking a subscription, because it's cloud-based, taking the subscription, it's user-based and it's close to 17 euro per month per user for all those features I'm going to talk about. Azure AD Premium, one of the features I'm going to show you is, for example, self-service password reset. Think about, again, your end user. One of the main calls any help desk gets is, hey, I'm this user and I forgot my password. That's all fine as long as it's a ID managed client. But what happens if you're syncing your email with your mobile phone and for some reason you forgot your password? Yeah, then you call back to IT. and then they try to reset it. But it's the middle of the night. Yeah, you know how it goes. Or think about the other 500 cloud applications you're using, and I'll show you later on how easy it is to actually connect with them. Yeah, when you're losing that one password, you forgot about it. Yeah, that's no problem. It's only one application. But now it's about 500 possible applications. So it's giving you some challenges. So one of the coolest things in Azure AD Premium is actually handing over the password control to the end user. From an IT perspective, you're still in control about the complexity of the passwords. How many retries, how many characters, complex ones, combinations, and so on. Azure Rights Management, in a couple of words, it's pretty easy. It's actually giving you control about who gets access to what data. And data, an easy example, is a Word document that can be blocked from forwarding by email, from printing, and so on. The end user can control it. You as an IT organization, you can also force policies. When a user is part of a group, an Active Directory can be synchronized with Azure AD, but I assume, at least you all know that already. So by using the AD integration, RMS, Rights Management Services, gives you additional flexibility in controlling, okay, you took a picture from a company conference. I want to make sure that that specific picture taken on your personal phone but controlled by EMS, I want to make sure that you cannot share that with the world. That's the idea behind RMS. I'm talking about pictures, but it works for Excel files, PowerPoints, any document you can think of. And then again, Microsoft Intune, it's like the control center for managing the mobile device. Anyone using SCCM or Altiris or any other client device management tool, that's like the same idea but running in the cloud. So in short, as a wrap-up, the introduction about EMS, it's a management solution for mobile devices and identities. Integration between Active Directory on-prem, integration with Azure Active Directory, and managing the mobile devices, forcing policies. Enhancing security, again by using policies and encryption. Conditional access, also pretty interesting. It's like giving a user the possibility to install an application, to use an application on his mobile device based on conditions. For example, if the device is a jailbroken iOS, like an iPad or an iPhone you found somewhere on the black market, you can still use it, but we're never gonna trust it anymore. Meaning, we're gonna make sure that you can install whatever games and apps and whatever you want to install, but you will never have the possibility to connect with our email backend. That's conditional access. On-premise cloud, I mean, think back 3-4 slides back. Yeah, it's integrated. It's Active Directory based. You have DearSync connecting your internal AD with Azure AD. It's recognizing your users, it's recognizing your groups, and then you can start playing around. And the coolest thing, think about my example about, yeah, but I already have a mobile management solution for iOS. I already have something for Android. I already had something for Windows. It's all in one single combination, which from an IT perspective is pretty interesting because, yeah, once you know how you can force policies, how you can take control, configure control for Windows phones, it's exactly the same portal, it's exactly the same configuration on iOS and Android. Now some of you might think, yeah, I mean, you've given a couple of examples. We are already using Office 365 and all the stuff you've been talking about so far, we're actually already using it. Who's already using Office 365? Okay, like 50% of the room, good. Who is using ActiveSync forcing policies out of Office 365 for the end user? Okay, I think it's pretty obvious. Now what is the interesting combination? So in the left gray corner, Office 365 is okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Office 365. And it's providing some mobile device management policies, but pretty limited. Easy example, a PIN code. That's about it. And a PIN code is just a PIN code. The only policy you can define is make sure that the mobile device has a PIN code before you can actually synchronize email. That's about it. Next to that, Office 365 in combination with some other components, also depending on the plan you're having, it's giving you some additional functionality. Multi-factor authentication was one of the newest additions a couple of months ago, actually forcing users to use multiple authentication. It's not only your AD password, it's also a PIN code or a text message or even a phone call. That like someone in the Microsoft data center is giving you a phone call and you actually have to answer the phone. You can say something, but just a machine that's calling you, so it's not that interactive. All pretty fine, but as you will see, it's like EMS, the Enterprise Mobility Suite, is the best suite of the three. And it's like stackable. So if you go back to your Microsoft account manager, hey, I already have Office 365, I attended a session about EMS, yeah, it's just an additional fee. So it's not a full 17 euro, it will be like 4 euro something. Azure Active Directory Premium, quite a lot of features. Who's already using that one? No one? Anyone? Just wave, because due to the light I cannot see everybody. Okay. So apparently not a lot of you are using it. What's the idea behind Azure Active Directory? First of all, it's synchronizing part of your Active Directory information, the basic information you need for authentication in the cloud, synchronized to Azure. That was Azure AD. Think of Office 365. Easy example. You have your internal Exchange server. You integrate with Office 365 in a hybrid way, meaning Exchange and 365 are actually talking to each other as if your 365 is just a remote site. You create mailboxes, you migrate mailboxes, you know how it goes. Now when a user connects to Office 365, he needs an Active Directory user account. Actually, he needs an Office 365 account. Without Azure AD, it would mean that your user is using Exchange on-premise connection on Monday. During the night, you migrate the user, and on Tuesday morning, he starts up Outlook and he gets a pop-up for a new authentication, which would be something like user.demo.onmicrosoft.com, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the way you want to help your users. By using Azure Active Directory, you can have single sign-on functionality. One user account, your internal AD account, being synchronized in a secure way to Azure AD and providing you single sign-on. That was day one. Then Azure AD Premium gives you additional functionality. Single sign-on, okay, we already had that one, but now we have single sign-on to more than 2,500 cloud applications. Using your internal AD user account and password for connecting to one of those 2,500 cloud applications. And I'm going to show you later on how it works. Another example, multi-factor authentication, already talked about, and the self-service password, also talked about. Second part of EMS, Azure Rights Management. Controlling your data, documents. Who gets access to my documents? As long as your file shares are running inside your on-premise environment, it's actually pretty easy. If you're part of the right NTFS group, you have access or don't have access. But by using the mobile syncs, think about OneDrive, think about other cloud solutions, yeah, you're losing control. I mean, you're syncing data, you're sending emails back and forth from your mobile device, and there's secure data inside those emails. Documents you're syncing with OneDrive and so on might be secure documentation, confidential information. So by using Azure Rights Management, it's giving you control on data level as well. And then the last one, Intune. Most of you are familiar with it, so I can pretty much skip this one. So the first part, Azure Active Directory. This might look a bit complex, but I'm going to show you later on in a demo in a couple of minutes. It's actually pretty easy. Think of the baseline. So at the bottom of the slide, you have your on-premise environment, Active Directory and all your applications. And you're using your managed devices. Think of Windows clients, part of a domain. You're in total control. And next to that, you have all those applications. Whatever application, I mean, this is just giving you some examples. And every user needs another authentication object in each and every application. So by using EMS out of Azure AD Premium, we can create one single identity. Our Azure Active Directory is like the core in the middle. Oh, that was one too quick, sorry for that. Azure Active Directory in the middle. You all know how Active Directory goes, synchronization with Azure AD. I mean, it's not really that hard to configure. And next to that, you use the Active Directory user to authenticate on-premise applications and to cloud applications. One identity, multiple applications, that's the baseline. It's explained in some other way, but the idea stays the same. I think it's more of interest going to a demo. Where is my demo? Come on, you can do it, you can do it. Yes. So I'm logged on to my Azure portal. Just gonna do a refresh because sometimes it's timing out and then I need to re-authenticate, which sometimes is taking some time. It's all looking good. So I have my Azure AD. It's a combination synchronization between my on-prem Azure. And one of the first things you have to do, but it's actually really easy, is get Azure AD Premium. Then you press try it now, and then that's all you have to do. So pretty easy. I already did that to make sure that it's up and running. So the first next step is using my Azure AD account for connecting with a single sign-on to multiple applications. So for example, give me an application from the gallery, meaning one of those public 2500. Now you also have a second option. Add an application my organization is developing. This can be a cloud application that you are developing by yourself, or can in meantime also be an on-premise application. Your intranet, for example, which is reachable from the public cloud. Let's see what the number says. It's close to 2,500. It's 2,461. Let me give you an easy example. Facebook. Facebook is a cloud application, and maybe some of your marketing users inside your company are using like a single Facebook account for connecting to the Facebook corporate pages. And then they need to authenticate. I'm using Active Directory, and whenever I'm connecting to the Facebook corporate pages, not my personal ones, but the corporate ones, I need like a Facebook account. And then that person leaves the company, but he actually knows the Facebook account of the company. And then he can start sending out nasty messages about you as a company. So that's something you want to avoid. So the first step is selecting one of those 2,500 cloud applications. Shouldn't take that long. There we go. Second step is assigning users. So this means I have my Facebook shortcut, and I'll explain you later on what I mean by the shortcut. I installed the Facebook out of my Azure AD Premium integration, and the next step is giving access to the specific user. So I have my test user, I assign it to Facebook. The next step is give me the Facebook credentials. Again, in the same example, I'm using my Azure AD user account, and I'm going to use another account. In this case, it's my own company's Facebook account. Well, not really company, it's just me. I'm running my own company, so. And my password, which I most cases forget. And even my account is wrong. Now what's actually happening now is I have my Azure AD account, actually the syncing from my on-prem AD account, and I give access to that specific account in using Facebook by using a hidden, encrypted, secured user account from Facebook. What does it look like? I'm just gonna close my browser session to avoid where is my background? Nope. Come on. Nope. What's wrong? I'll do it like this. So I connect to a cloud application out of Microsoft, which is called My Apps sure I type the full name correctly. In this example, the trainer sbsnext.onmicrosoft.com could be like your internal Active Directory account. Now, I had an issue in my session yesterday talking about Hyper-V and using Active Directory, using Azure Disaster Recovery Manager. But in the meantime, my Hyper-V physical box crashed, which means I don't have my backend Active Directory account anymore. Let's see if that works, because thinking and typing and talking isn't that easy. Okay, it works. So what happens? I'm the end user. The only thing I have to remember is myapps.microsoft.com, which, by the way, can also be redirected to a more company-oriented URL. Think of my apps or my portal or ourportal.company.com. I'm logged on using my Azure Active Directory account. I'll log on to Facebook, and if everything goes right and it works, I'm actually being redirected to Facebook without any other authentication. Am I logged on with my AD account? I don't use Facebook that much, so I'm not sure where I can see what user I'm using. It's probably in here somewhere. Who's like a Facebook expert on this? Should so somewhere, but doesn't matter. You've seen how it goes. Now again, this is just an easy example, easy cloud application. I could do the same demo, but I don't have that much time for doing a second one on this topic. Think about Twitter, think about Salesforce, think about maybe even using Dropbox. Who's using Dropbox? Most of you, right? Think of using Dropbox as a stored location for secure data within your company, sharing it with multiple users. When I'm doing authentication to Dropbox, you need a user account, like a Dropbox user account. By using Azure AD Premium, you can like create a shim. The IT department is in control of the identity, Azure AD Premium identity, and also in control of the cloud application identity. Now you might think, hey, but that's not what I want. Let me go back. I'm just going to open another browser, then I can switch between the Azure admin portal and the client. Because what happens is, when you, from an IT perspective, configure the connection between your Azure AD Premium and what cloud application you can use, if you paid attention, you saw that after my Facebook app has been installed, it will ask me for credentials. Now that doesn't mean that, as an end user, you have to provide your credentials to the IT department. Again, it's about corporate data, corporate information. We're almost there. Come on, come on, you can do it. That's so great about using cloud technology, it's always available. And by the way, the excellent Wi-Fi connection. It's one of the first conferences that are actually having that performant Wi-Fi connection. So let me go back to my applications. And let's take American Airlines as an example. So I installed this shortcut and I linked it to a user. Let's verify my user is in there. Okay. Now what happens if I go back to the same portal as being the end user? I click on American Airlines. Think of this application as your corporate global travel application. I'm traveling for my company. I log on to American Airlines for ordering my tickets, my hotels and everything. I didn't provide credentials out of the IT admin configuration in Azure, meaning I provide you as being my Azure AD user. I give you access in using that cloud application. but I don't want your credentials. So you get like multiple options. It's partly single sign-on, it's control, it's giving flexibility, mobility to the user. Now, why would you use this situation? I can see some people having concerns about, yeah, but it's all cool and stuff, but what's so great about this? Think of one URL, myapps.company.com, which is the only URL you need to remember as an end user. I mean, that's all fine. From an IT perspective, what's even more cool is it's the only URL you need to allow access to applications. Think of proxies, reverse proxies. It's one URL. That's the only thing you need to know. One last example, Office 365. And you can see it's working. Any questions? Happy with the demo? I am, because it's working. So, second part. This was Azure AD Premium, one of the features I wanted to talk to you about. Second one is rights management. I have my Active Directory in Azure. By going to rights management, I can create some policies. To speed up my demo, I already prepped a few policies, but think of a view-only policy, meaning whenever an end user applies that policy to a folder, to a specific document, it will be in view-only, read-only format. This is like a standalone configuration. Again, think about a couple of slides back, where at the bottom you have your on-premise environment, on the top you have the cloud applications. But again, by using Azure AD Premium, whenever you have documents stored on-premise, you can rely on Azure AD Premium as well for configuring rights management. So how does it look like from an end user perspective? First of all, you do the configuration from the backside, but I can just create a new one to show you. It's even language aware. So for example, think of I'm having a document in English and everybody can read it. But if it's a document in Norwegian, then only finance department can read it. I know it's a stupid example, but you know what I mean. It's creating the template. Once I have my template, it's just connecting to users. Give me all my Active Directory users. Where is my user Peter? There he is. And as of now, Peter will get that rights management policy enforced, and he is the viewer, meaning when that policy is being applied to Peter as the user account, the synced AD cloud account with the on-prem AD, whenever document is configured for using that policy, and Peter is doing the authentication by using his Azure AD Premium account, he can only get view access. Now I'm away from IT, I'm not an admin, I'm just the end user. And nope, it's not what I need. I have a folder structure. On my local D drive on this machine, RMS demo location. Couple of documents. I right click and I have a snap-in. Protect in place and share protected. Now how do you get this snap-in? It's just installing the RMS client. Now it's taking some time, it's requiring Windows Update to make sure that you actually have the latest client installed. So I just wanted to get me some time, so I prepped my installation, but just next, finish and done. So I have my document, protect in place, the NIC demo template, and it's asking me for my Azure AD credentials. Waiting a couple of seconds, it's protecting and done. So what actually happened is it's using that specific cloud policy I just configured, and if all goes fine, I open my document and Excel will tell you, hey, it's a read-only file. Why? Because I forced it as being read-only out of my policy. So I'm going to wait a couple of seconds, and there we go. it's configured by using the NIC-conf. And what permissions do I have? I have a view, edit, and so on and so on. Why? Because I quickly showed you creating the NIC-conf demo tree, but it's taking some time for syncing to the client, and that's why I relied on the demo one, which gave me like full permissions. But you know how it works. That's Azure AD Premium in short. Any questions? Good. Now I speed up a bit. I gave you the demo already on rights management. Why? Because it's in the same portal. Otherwise I had to close all my browser sessions and then re-authenticate. Rights management, part of the game is encryption. You can encrypt the data. It looks like a secure document. It's identity access management based. Why? Whenever I enforced the policy on that document, it's asking me for my Azure AD credentials. If I don't enter any credentials, I don't have the policy. Now again, this was a standalone demo. Think of having that policy on your internal file shares. Having the same policy on cloud, OneDrive, lookalike storage. It's all the same policy. Policy enforcement out of IT admins. You create the policies inside Azure AD Premium. After a couple of seconds, when the RMS client on the device wakes up, it's synchronizing the policy once you authenticate. And the last one is logging. Again, from the backend, the IT admin perspective inside Azure, you can get full detailed logging of what user account is getting access, or at least trying to get access to what document. Now you might think, okay, RMS, it looks cool, it's Azure, but yeah, it's cloud, and nah, we're not really happy with cloud. Now how can you work with RMS, Azure RMS, if you're already like what I call a cloud-ready company? If you're already using Azure AD, it's pretty easy to configure the additional functionality out of Azure AD Premium. And if you're already using Office 365, yeah, it's all integrated. RMS out of Azure AD Premium has a direct connection with Office 365. Meaning, I showed you the policy on a document, you can use the same policy for sending email. If that specific email is being sent to an external address, sorry, but we won't allow you to send the finance report 2015 Q1.pdf. So that's pretty easy. Cloud ready means we have Azure AD. We have Azure AD Premium, we have Azure Rights Management, and it's synchronized. You already know that from a couple of slides back. And the full cloud integration. You might be a company that says, yeah, we already do have some parts of cloud. Think of Office 365, but we're using Exchange in a hybrid setup. Some users are on-prem, some users are already in the cloud. Can we still use Azure RMS? Of course you can. Why? Because it's a hybrid situation. Again, internally, Active Directory, Exchange, synchronizing with Azure AD, elevating Azure AD Rights Management, and you're done. And it's all being synchronized. And in the backend, on your file servers, in most cases, you install the same RMS agent. It's like a client running on your file server. And then again, every user, when he's connecting to / file server / sales shared folder, right click on the folder, right click on the documents, and then he has the same snap in as I showed you a couple of minutes ago. And then the hard ones. Who of you is not using cloud for the moment? Who dares to say? You can win yourself a t-shirt. Who is not using cloud technology? Really? You're not syncing with Facebook? Not using Twitter? No? Do you have a life? Sorry, just a joke, I mean, nothing personal. Now for the ones who are against using cloud technology, yeah, there's nothing much to use. I mean, you don't have any cloud, so the right technology on the right is not for you. It's everything internal. Now, rights management services as such has been part of Active Directory since 2003. So the same demo, same idea same principle about I want to make sure that that specific document on that specific internal file share, I want to make sure that that document never leaves my company. You already have Active Directory. Do you have Active Directory? Yeah, okay. So you have Active Directory. Out of your domain controller, you install Rights Management Service. It's a free add-on, by the way. And then you can almost create the same setup. Whenever you start adopting cloud in the next couple of weeks, months, years, whatever, RMS internal policies will be synchronized with Azure AD Premium. RMS policies in the cloud will work as well. Next, I already explained all that in the demo, so that's pretty easy. Last part, Intune. Most of you already know Intune. I got like 15 minutes left, so this one should be pretty easy to go. Intune is about client, mobile device, client management. I want to take control, and I gave you already a couple of examples right in the beginning. I want to take control of my IT assets who are not part of my organization. Personal devices, mobile devices, whatever operating system, you already know that. Now, one of the coolest integrations possible is pretty obvious with SCCM. Most of you are already using SCCM. Integration is really, really easy. I know there was a session from Alex yesterday, deep dive on SCCM integration with Intune. I mean, it's pretty easy to configure. You create your subscription. You can even use a 30-day trial for free if you want. Out of your SCCM, if it's a 2012 R2, you configure the integration and you can manage your mobile devices from the same SCCM backend. From a deployment perspective, there's some kind of agent that needs to be installed on the mobile device. Again, think about mobile as being, I am a mobile user. I don't come into the office that often. And I want to make sure that whenever that user is using that mobile device, I want to make sure that he has the policies installed. Now, how does it work? And I'll show you that later on in my last demo. As being an end user, I log on to the public Microsoft Store because I'm using a Windows phone for my demo, or the Android Store or the Apple Store. You download an application which is called Company Portal. And by installing the Company Portal, you're actually registering that mobile device in the Intune backend. Before installing the client, you as an IT admin, you log on to the Intune portal, and I'll show you in the next couple of minutes. You log on to the Intune portal. Again, you have Azure Active Directory synchronization, so all your internal AD users are recognized. And then you just mark the ones you want to activate. And activating means, as of now, you pay €8 per month per user. And per user for managing up to 5 devices. Anyone using more than 5 devices? I mean, on a personal basis, not sharing with your daughter and wife and so 5 should be more than enough, I think. The other possibility is, again, from the IT perspective, pushing the client to the mobile device by using SCCM, for example. The portal I show you, just a screenshot if my demo would fail, but it's pretty easy to show. Now you might think, okay, you talked from the beginning about Azure AD Premium. Showed me some demos, that's all document-based, it's user account, single sign-on, that's all fine. About the mobile device management, yeah, you gave a good pitch about, yeah, you're using an application for managing iOS. You're using an application for managing Androids. And now we're going to talk about the third one for, let's say, Windows devices. But I already know that iOS can be managed, and I already know that Android can be managed. And then it's again starting like a combination of tools. Now, without going too much in detail, go to the intune.microsoft.com page. There's one image showing you that for using all features you have inside Azure AD Premium, Azure AD as such, rights management controlling the data, and Intune, which is, by the way, EMS, but you already knew that. For using the same functionality, getting the same features out of EMS by using other applications, you need in total 15. I'm not joking. If you want to have the details, there's a PDF explaining all the different commonly used applications. you need a total of 15 for actually having the same out of EMS. Settings I'll show you in a demo, and manageability as a summary out of my PowerPoint. Manage mobile productivity, protect data, for example in Office by using Azure AD Premium rights management. Conditional access I'll show you in my final demo, and enroll and manage corporate devices. A table just for information. I already gave you some headlines on this one. Mobile device management by using Exchange ActiveSync. It's nothing new. I mean, it's been there since Exchange 2003. Give me a PIN code and then I allow you to sync my email. That's fine. Then we had mobile device management out of Office 365 like about a year ago, giving you some additional features. Then we have Intune as a standalone solution. And then of course, like the Rolls-Royce of mobile device management in meantime is the integration between SCCM and Intune. So with that, I'm moving over to my last demo. I'm gonna first of all close my sessions. That's about the same, just because my resolution is a bit different on this one. So I'm logging on to my Intune management portal. Without going too much in detail, I already asked you, but just a show of hand who has never seen Intune before? Okay. Sorry for the other ones, I got like 7 minutes left. Maybe I can show you something that you haven't seen in all the other 5 sessions you could follow this week. So this is my admin portal. Quick explanation. Mobile device management means I want to force updates, application updates. That's the first one. I'm missing a Windows update on my phone. Probably Windows 10. No. Mobile OS. I have 2 devices in control. Device health is okay, meaning my client is reporting to my Intune backend. Software installs are okay. Endpoint protection is antivirus. For the moment only for Windows operating systems. An interesting one is policies. Give me or create a policy. To spare me some time, I'm just going to show you an already pre-configured policy. I can, for example, force a password. Now think of all the other mobile device management solutions you might know. Yes, they can all force a password, a PIN code. By using Intune, first of all, it's require a password. Without password, no Intune syncing means no Exchange syncing and so on. And a password is not just a PIN code, it can be alphanumeric. It's not only a PIN code based on 4 characters, it can be like anything you specify. I mean, if you have a complex password policy in your internal AD, which I hope and assume you all have, yeah, why should you lower the password policy on a mobile device? Yeah, but on the internal AD we need our complex password, 12 characters. You can never use it like 3 times and it needs to be complex. But on your mobile device, where you're actually having access to secure data, we allow VPN, we allow email access and so on. A PIN code only possibility of 9 numbers, yeah, that's more than enough. I mean, it's not really working well. It's not only about passwords and complexity and so on, minimum password length, and I mean, I could talk about this for like 15 minutes. This is only password policy. If you know any other application that can do the same, I'm pretty interested in finding out. Compliance policies. Compliance is about legal access. Again, passwords and forcing encryption of the device. All data on the device needs to be encrypted. If someone, I wouldn't even know how you do it, but if someone is like taking apart your iPhone, your iPad, your Windows phone and reusing the disk that's inside, it will be an encrypted disk. That's this setting here. and blocking access to jailbroken devices, iOS and Android. Conditional access I quickly talked about. It's blocking email applications on whatever device you're using. Can be like the full Outlook client. On a Windows phone can be like the built-in iPad mail client. If you're not part of the right group, then sorry, you don't have access to the email application. In whatever email application you can find in the public app stores, it won't work. We are blocking access. That's, in a few words, the admin portal. Again, if you've never seen this before and you have questions, I'm still here for the rest of the afternoon, so feel free to contact me. Now, how does it look like from an end user perspective? I'm going to close this one. Now I'm logging on to the end user portal. A couple of things I can do is, for example, providing access to applications. I have my Windows client. This is my managed Windows client, and I want to install a demo app. Now I need to install the company portal first. Now I told you in the beginning, this is like, in my example, a company managed client, and they don't allow me to install the company portal. Why? Because the Intune company portal policies are blocking with the other policies from the other application. So it's like you remove the other management tool and then you install Intune, which I'm not going to do because then it will block everything. But I'll show you on my Windows device. So I can, from an IT perspective, deploy applications. I'm not going to show you how you can do it from an admin perspective, but this one is actually, again, from an end user perspective. How does an end user install an application? He goes to the store. Why? Because it's oh so easy. And it's the way he's been installing apps for the last 2-3 years. Connecting to the App Store, Apple App Store, the Android App Store. Going through a collection of tools, clicking on downloading, in a couple of seconds the application is installed. So it would be exactly the same. The end user can also see what devices are linked to his account. Whenever he has a problem, he can contact IT. The only thing he has to remember, again, think about a situation where your user has lost a device. Yeah, but I need to call IT. Damn, that specific phone number was actually on my device that got stolen. So there's no way I can call my office and actually tell them that the device is stolen. You go to any public internet kiosk, if you can still find them. You talk to a colleague during a conference, hey, can I use your phone for actually connecting to the backend? And you can call your IT department. Last part is on my phone. We started 4 minutes late, so I got like 4 minutes left. Don't worry, it's just a demo pin code. You can try to remember. You might try to steal my device. The glass is broken, so it's not really useful for stealing it. So the first step is connecting to the store. Come on, you can do it. That's a bit small, I know. I'm used to using another one which is like 3 times the size of this one. And I go to the company portal. There we go. Should only take a couple of seconds. Or a bit more. Any other questions so far? Think about the 2 other t-shirts. I promised one already. I already forgot who you are, but make sure that you still remember who you are to grabbing your t-shirt. Come on, you can install it. That would be really stupid that the last demo is not working. Music is pumping in the back. I'm not a really good dancer, so I'm not going to show you my moves. Come on, installing. Can you all shut down the Wi-Fi connection on your mobile devices? Why is it taking so long? You can do it. Let's see if I have some slides left to talk about in the meantime. Not really, got 2 slides left, and then I hope in the meantime the app is being installed. So what I talked about in the beginning is setting the mobile scene, talking about the difficulties we have from an IT perspective about managing mobile devices, and in most cases the personal devices out of control of the IT department. Then I showed you what EMS is, and you all know what it is. 3 components: Azure AD Premium, Azure Rights Management, and Intune. I did some demos, and he's like at 75% of downloading the client. Q&A, didn't have that many questions, which for me, I hope at least, means that I gave you the right explanations and showed you the right demos. If not, feel free to shout questions. Got like 2 minutes left, and it looks like the company portal app has been installed in the meantime. So I'm gonna switch back. There we go. I need to sign in to the company portal app, and I hope that one is a bit quicker. Yes, no, yes, no. There we go. I already tried this demo before, that's why it's recognizing my credentials. We're almost there. Come on, come on. I only got 2 minutes left. There we go. So the first thing I showed you in the full browser is just going through my portal. If I had published specific apps for a mobile device, I could download the apps on my phone in the exact same way that I'm connecting to the public Microsoft Store and downloading the company portal. In meantime, because after installing the client, my phone is like being registered, recognized inside Intune, the Peter Windows phone, that's this one. So I have a managed device. Now to show you that it's indeed working, I'm going back to my Intune portal as being the admin guy. Anyone having 1 more minute? Then I can close my demo in a decent way. Thank you for that. Internet is becoming a bit more slow. Where are my devices? Mobiles. 3 devices. I had 2 before, now it's 3, okay. And where is my device? I forgot about it. I'm missing something on my screen. No, it's not here. Let's try from here. There we are. That's where I need to be. Here's my Windows phone registered February 13, 115. This is my registered device. And then to close my demo, retire and wipe. Wipe the device before retiring. Retiring means actually releasing it from Intune management. And of course, it's corporate data on there doing the wipe. Now, I couldn't complete a full demo, but not that important. Imagine I had downloaded a specific application from the portal, a company published application. Then it would ask me, hey, do you want a full wipe or a selective wipe? Because it's starting to recognize it's like a split up device, split brain functionality. And then it's telling me the device is in the process of being retiring. And then, and here, I'm not really sure if I can show you, it's saying goodbye. So it's Intune forcing my phone to actually restart. After the reboot, it will do a wipe and all corporate data will be removed. If I have Office 365 email account, that one will be removed as well. but my personal pictures will stay on there. I'm finished. Thank you very much. I hope you liked it. Don't forget the one, you already got your t-shirt, the other ones, make sure that you grab one. Just be safe on the stairs. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much. Yeah, sure.